Hi, everyone. We have a great show for you today. We have Kinsley Turnipseed, who's the owner and principal consultant of My Other Mother. She is an organizer, and she talks about how she got into it. She was a teacher that became an organizer. She helps people who need to downsize, people who are moving from the state to state, people who just want a more organized home, people whose parents or family members or loved ones have passed away and they need help organizing. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening.
This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Warren and Dillon, the Midland's trusted personal injury lawyers. Here's some great advice from our sponsor.
Hey there, Brett Warren with Warren and Dillon. I wanted to talk to you today about some of the biggest mistakes you can make when it comes to dealing with insurance companies. I think one of them is giving a recorded statement to the insurance company. The problem is that the insurance companies, they're doing these recorded statements to help their case and to hurt yours. And so they're going to ask some sneaky questions that are designed to hurt your case. One quick example, they'll ask how many feet away you were from the other car when you first noticed them. Nobody really knows the answer to that. But what they're going to do is they're going to say, hey, you should have noticed that other car, and now you're 20% at fault. So do yourself a favor, just don't do it or talk to a lawyer first. Trusted advice, proven results, Warren and Dillon.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. I'm Dr. Randy here with Dr. Tom. As always, we are Columbia's hottest podcast, and we have a great guest today. We have Kinsley Turnipseed.
Yes.
So I got that right first try, which you were impressed with. And you're the owner and principal consultant of My Other Mother, LLC, and you love to organize things.
Yes, I do.
So you take a big mess and you get some drawer organizers and some other tools, and you
Right.
put it all in the right place.
Right.
Everything should have a spot.
Yes,
Is that your life
absolutely.
belief?
Yeah, since I was young, I feel like it was, a place for everything and everything in its place.
Yep. Are you
So-
the oldest?
I'm the only.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, so even more anal retentiveness.
Yes, you're just used to dealing with adults all the time. Yeah.
Yes.
See, there's firstborn, secondborn. Have you looked into the firstborn, secondborn, lastborn traits?
Well, now I have three. Like I have three children, so
Yep.
yes, very much. And they all very much fit their calling in life.
Mine do too. They're perfectly organized into firstborn, lastborn, and
Yes.
I myself am a firstborn, and my wife is a lastborn, and you just know what the person's going to do based on that.
Right. It's so crazy. And you feel like you can't parent all three of them the same way because they're different personalities, but there must be some part of that that's inherent at birth. I don't know.
That's what although when I think of my firstborn at 2 years old, she's in writing classes and we're fixing everything. Anything she says wrong, we're like, nope, you're embarrassing us. Don't say it like that. And then your lastborn is like, you know what? She'll figure it out.
Yes.
What's the difference if she learns it at 2 or 4?
I think I've heard that, thirdborns and beyond, I guess, are very resilient because I guess that's kind of the one that parents, maybe forgot in a grocery store or
100%.
didn't show up for.
All their patients are gone.
Yes. You'll figure it out.
Yep. So you are in the organizing space. Tell us how you got into this.
Oh, gracious. Kind of like everything in my life, I stumbled into it. I'm a former teacher, so I think that the color coding, the organization, all that good stuff comes from that. And then I have my master's in speech language pathology, and I worked in skilled nursing with patients who had stroke. Then that put me kind of on a track where I fell in love with dementia, and my grandfather ended up having dementia, so that all worked nicely together as well. And then I just was kind of doing this on the side. One of my friends gave me the book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo.
I read that.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Dynamite.
it is. It really, and simple and, not, it is. It's a quick, easy read with very practical ideas and advice. And I just felt a tugging. I've always organized. Like, I'm that friend that will show up and organize your pantry and won't even care if it offends you or not. You have cans in here from 2007. I'm getting rid of these. Okay, cool. And I just felt this tugging at my heart to do this as a side hustle. And then I felt very strongly that I should, stop my job and do this. And then COVID hit. So I was kind of like, wow, well, that sucks. I mean, but COVID was somewhat good for business because it tends that people being at home for that amount of time, they had created a lot of chaos and clutter in their lives. The other part of my business that I really love, and people, it's a very niche business that people don't know a lot about, is the senior move management part, which encompasses all of my skills. It's the helping seniors declutter, helping them downsize so they can stay in their house longer, or helping them make decisions. Our company is certified, so we do the packing, the moving, and the unpack on the other side, so that, adult children aren't staying home. They're moving out and going to other states. And so they don't have anyone to help mom and dad walk through that process. And we do. And by the time adult children get here, they walk in, the room's already set up, the box is already gone. And
that's nice.
yeah, so that way you just get to be the child. Don't worry about being the move manager or the boxer, the packer, just let us do that.
Yeah, nice.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. And it's not just seniors. We're making a lot of people now are hiring a move manager the way you would hire a wedding coordinator.
Yeah.
You just put everything on me. I handle all the details, and, less days off work, less stress, more time to eat in your kitchen, less eating out.
I didn't even know move manager was a thing.
I had never heard of it.
Yeah, it's becoming a bigger thing here in Columbia. We're getting really slammed. It's the spring season. Everyone's putting their house on the market for that hot time to sell, and people want to move over the summer if they have children. And so they're like, I can't do it. I will budget money for whatever you cost, which in the end ends up usually being cost effective because, like I said, less time off work, more time to eat in. Or if you don't want to eat in, you save time with the move. So
right.
you can eat out if you want, but your kitchen will be completely set up and organized from day one.
Problem is, you get someone like Tom who thinks that everything he has needs to be saved
Yeah, I got
forever.
a lot of questions about
Oh,
that.
good. Yes, I have a lot of answers for you. And because I used to be a teacher, I have the research, the
Yes.
statistics, all the things.
See, so that's my thing. Like, I have a lot of just in case stuff.
Okay.
Papers, books, photos.
So you were just born in the wrong era.
Yes.
You're an old soul.
Yes. It's like I have stuff from when I was in like high school and college that I know I'm never going to use,
Right.
especially with the internet nowadays where it's like I'm going to go to the internet, look it up. But I, in my mind, think like, this notebook that I wrote a note in, might want that.
Yeah. So
Like a memory.
Right. You're exactly right. And there's so much. You talked about the internet and technology, and there are ways to capture that and then let it go.
Yeah.
Because it's Matt Paxton who started the show Hoarders, and he also started the show Legacy List, where he talks about senior mood management. Those items are basically holding us emotionally hostage because it's not the item, it's the memory attached to the item.
Right.
So there's so many apps. I use free prints, but there's all kinds of apps where you just take the picture of the item, throw the item away. You get a picture book. You get it once a month. It's like $7. You can put as many pictures in it as you would like. And with my kids' stuff, I think moms have like a really hard time with this. They have just like bins of,
Right.
that was the birdhouse they made me for their third Mother's Day, and that was the first time they wrote their name. And I'm like, okay, look, that's gone. I gotta have a book this size. So my children, I'm very open and honest with my children because I deal a lot in situations where people have died.
Yeah.
And so the running joke in our house is like, see, when I die, you only have 12 books to throw away. You won't have to go through my whole attic and throw away every college yearbook and every high school note. And so, but sentimentality is different for every people, and we all hold on to it for different reasons.
Yeah.
In our company, we're all about getting to the root of the fruit. It's kind of
the old root of the fruit.
Is that your tagline?
Should be.
actually our kind of, I guess, unknown motto or unspoken motto is every client has a name, and every name has a story, and every story is important to us.
We have that quote, but it's a number. We have number. Every number has a name. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Love that.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'm still struggling. I got boxes of stuff, and I feel like I want to be the guy that throws stuff out. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
even like you build a table, you have a couple extra parts that are in there. I want to be the guy that says, I'm throwing the extra parts in the garbage, but I'm not.
Okay.
I throw them in like a bin of just shit that is, I'm never going to, like, I couldn't find them if I wanted to.
Well, so facts and statistics for you. One, I mean, statistically,
Yeah,
the
hit me
chance
with the numbers.
statistically the chance of you using that is probably 0.2% or less.
Wow.
Think about what it's costing you. You've already paid for it once, but by you holding on to it, you're paying for it multiple times, multiple years. And at the end of the day, depending on what it is, our earth is going to pay for it because it's going to end up in a landfill.
Right.
So I always think about things going on to live a better life. Like Habitat for Humanity can take spare wood, door handles, projects that you thought you were going to, screws, like yard supplies, Pets Inc., Thrift Avenue, the pets companies take sheets, towels, blankets. So I always try to encourage people just to think about, especially how long have you been holding on to it?
Years. Well, see that trophy next to you there, that sandhill
Yes.
crane? That was in somebody's garbage, and I was just perusing my streets, ride my golf cart around, and I go, that just spoke to me. And so I turned it into a trophy.
Okay.
And painted it, but it sat in my garage for, I don't know, 2 years. And my wife hated it. I was like, what are we doing with this? And I was like, I feel like there's going to be a moment. And now the moment is here.
And it's an awesome trophy.
But there's
like
a lot of...
paid off.
It is.
There's a lot of junk, though, like that in my garage.
Oh, my. Okay. Do you have children?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want your legacy
To be...
to be that they open a garage and be like,
what do I do with a sandhill
my
trophy?
dad hated us. Yes.
Right,
I
right.
mean, and I work with that. Like my
Yes.
senior moves are my heart. Like my team, we all have different strengths. One of my sweet employees, she loves a pantry. She loves a closet. She loves a
Yes.
garage. I love working with 92-year-olds who have, 47 years of back taxes just stored randomly in a
fight
box.
back.
Yeah. That can't figure, that have to be intentionally led.
Yep.
Because ethically, I can't make anyone get rid of anything.
Oh, really?
I just have to.
You're not just sneaky, like throwing stuff out.
No, I sometimes
You want to.
I want to,
Yeah.
but if we know something is trash, I mean, like if on our friends, Grana had hoarded like I think Splenda packets or is Sweet and Low. There's 150 of that. I'm gonna toss that for sure. But yeah, you never know.
Right.
Especially with the older generation, they're gonna be like, there was a piece of wood in here that was 3 by 5. I'm talking to you. No.
I have that piece of wood too, but I can't find it.
Right. Yeah. So
Or they think everything's an antique, or it's
gosh.
worth 100 times more than it is.
I got some of that.
Yes. It's so hard, y'all. That is the hardest part for me to tell people in my nicest, most realistic way is that here's the kind of the joke or the running laugh line between my industry is Hummels, the little German figurines
yes. Like
that
porcelain.
everyone collected, and they were super expensive when they had them, but they mass produced them. So, or like Depression era glass, everyone thinks that's so valuable. It's not. Like I can't even hardly give away a Hummel, and people get so upset.
Right.
And I know how much you paid for it. I know you came up from the Depression era. I know that was something that was your first buy. You were so proud of it. Your kids don't want it.
Right.
And no one else does. So antique is an interesting word too, because for something to be antique, it has to be verified 100 years old or older.
Really?
Oh,
Yes. It's not just like, oh, this was my grandmother's in 1932 or like whatever. I'm like, well, it has to be 100 years or older. It might be vintage, but I rarely honestly run across things that are pure antique. So
what about silver coins or gold?
silver and gold tend to retain their value. And so they're pretty sellable because kids don't want silver that they have to polish. So that one pretty much maintains its value. But
Do you find it a lot though when you're going through these?
yes, anytime, we go through houses that have 6 attics that are crammed full. We have to open every single box and go through every single thing because especially if mom or dad has passed, and a lot of times just grief is so compounded by that point in time that adult kids are like, I can't deal with it. But yeah, we go through, we take pictures and send and put somewhere. We're like, hey, we don't even know if these coins are valuable, but they're on the whatever. And one time we found, twice now we have found wedding dresses that families did not even know they were up there. They'd kind of been looking for them and didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So I found an anti-aircraft missile one time.
Oh, wow.
It was a
So
foreclosure.
nervous.
It was a live missile.
Wow.
Yeah, the bomb squad came and took it away from me.
After he drove it home, though.
After I played with it
encouraged
for a
him that
little
it was
while.
gonna be
Because,
fine.
because you wanted to bring it in here and display it like that.
I just thought it was cool. Well, because here's what I'm picturing. We got a foreclosure where
Right.
I'm assuming the couple passed away,
Right.
and it was loaded with junk. So I just said to the guys, everything in the house, trash.
Right.
Everything. But I'm
Right.
going to do a little walkthrough first and see what's there. And I found that. And I thought it was cool until the bomb squad said, nope, you can't have that.
Oh my goodness. That might be the best story I've heard of something found.
There has to be stuff like that all the time for you, though.
Not really. A lot of junk.
It is a lot of junk.
What's the weirdest thing you found? Like
Okay.
sex
I
toys
feel like
and
you're
weird.
going to ask me this, and I feel like as
Yeah.
doctors, y'all know that I have kind of like a HIPAA. But I'm going to assume that
Nobody knows this
No.
person. Nothing
this
to
person's
identify
not-
him.
Yeah, no, but, like for me, it's things like yes, we find the sex toys. We find those aren't even interesting anymore because we find them so
That's
much.
normal.
But like, yeah,
Really?
it really is normal. Yes, it
What do you-
really is.
what would be a high amount?
Antique
toys.
wooden butt plug.
If you found 100 sex
Oh.
toys, you'd be like, oh, that's pretty normal still.
Oh, like in
But
one person's
200?
house?
Yeah.
Oh no, we usually just find one. I don't know
Oh,
where the
just
other ones
one.
might be, but like the bedside table, it's like 100% guaranteed it's going to be
Something
there.
in there.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
Boxes to the very back of the closet. I'll usually be like, "Hey, there's a box in here. I'm going to pull it down for y'all to look through." Gosh, okay, so the real. I had a client who liked to keep all of her children's hair, eyelashes, and fingernail clippings.
No, that like ever fell out.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There had to be teeth in there too.
The teeth, yes, there were teeth. I'm not quite sure. They may
Just
have been
anything
kept.
that fell off their body. She was
they're
holding on
so
to.
gross.
That's cool.
How much hair are we talking about? Because you lose a
It
lot
is
of hair
just-
over your life.
Every haircut.
Yeah.
So just like
Bag it.
bag
Bag it, give it
baggies
to me.
with like labels on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
You'd
see.
want that. Imagine Connie comes to you and says, "Hey, I got your first grade haircut hair here."
Yeah.
I throw my kids' stuff away the moment it's done with, or get like they draw something, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Throw
yeah.
it away.
I'm realistically sentimental, I guess is how. Yeah. But so I have, a lot of times we find, like parents now are keeping their children's umbilical cords.
Yeah.
We did that.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
there he
keeping
is.
it like in a jar. So that's not that weird. One time we found, and we weren't sure, in one of the books that I've read, it's like some family secret should stay a family secret.
Yeah.
Right. So one of my employees called and was like, Kinsley, we just found a scrapbook of some pictures with the husband, but he's not with his wife.
Whoa.
And they
Nice.
were very, like, they weren't like bourgeois. They were like,
Yikes.
yeah, very aggressive.
Little
And I
blackmail
said-
book.
Yeah. So I was like, you're just going to put that in the bookshelf with all the others.
No
and
kidding, just
because-
organize it.
Because the husband had passed. And so
Yeah.
we didn't want this to be like, oh, your
Right.
husband's passed. Oh, look at, here you
Right,
go.
right,
Here's
right,
his
right.
scrapbook of, yeah, but we do find delicate information because we're going through people's attics. It's very emotionally laden work that we do sometimes.
Yes.
Because you're bringing up kind of things that families have literally pushed to the back of the closet.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
What are the hardest things for people to let go of that you know they need to, but
I think it's so different with each client. What is it? I mean, we get a lot of, the things that kind of I think people should hold on to, pictures, and they want to hold on to too many, but that's
Right.
something that makes sense sentimentally to hold on to. But what doesn't make sense, and they have a hard time getting rid of with pictures, I'll say, well, who are these people?
right.
And they don't know. They're like, well, it's someone in my family.
right.
Yep.
Do
Or
you-
it's just a photo with no person in it.
Right. Yes, that's what I tell them on like the postcard photos. Do you remember going to the pyramids? Okay, then we can let that go. Or you have 17 photos and 15 of them are blurry. Like, let it go. People have a hard time letting go of baby stuff
Yeah.
that their adult kids don't want.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, well, we could shadow box it. We could, I have to be the mediator. between, your son does not want his bronze baby shoes. I am so sorry.
Right.
So yeah, there are kids stuff that have a hard time letting go of, even though it's only, and so that's when my company is able to come in and offer solutions like, hey, we're going to take a picture of this. We're going to put it in a book for you to be on your living room table. You're more likely to actually look at it. Shadow box it, turn things into, upcycle, do all kinds of things so that people are really, really,
right.
Because I'm not certified to work with hoarders. There are 5 levels. And past level 2, I'm not really certified. Because,
we need to know the levels. What are the levels?
What do you think Tom is?
Yeah, give me. I'll tell you once you give me the levels.
Oh, yeah.
See, there's a difference between hoarding and collecting.
Yeah, I'm more of a collector.
Yes.
Different level.
So hoarding, I don't know if you've ever watched the show with Matt Paxton.
Oh, yeah.
I can't. I mean, literally, I feel like I'm going to have, it causes, it's so much
blood
trauma.
pressure goes
Yes,
through.
I'm just like, oh gosh, holy cow. But he always takes a mental health professional with him. So I feel like that's the difference. Hoarding would be like,
you need a
I'm
counselor.
going to call the cops if you touch that piece of string.
Right.
Yeah. So so there are 5 levels, and once you get past level 2, like level 3, you're dealing with, a bathroom that doesn't work, odor throughout the house, visible trash.
Wait, can we start at level 1?
Oh, okay. Level 1 says light amounts of clutter and no noticeable odors. All doorways and stairways are accessible.
I might be level 1. I'm level 1.
Yeah,
so
that
far, I'm
feels
level
right.
1.
So
Yep.
level 2, you have those things, but level 2, there might be pet waste on the floor,
Not me.
evidence of household rodents,
Not a chance.
overflowing garbage cans,
Nope.
and dirty food preparation surfaces.
Gross.
And that's what I'm actually
So
certified.
that's your level 1 too.
Yeah,
Okay.
level 1 and 2, because those aren't technically biohazards.
Right.
So once we get into something where there's like those strong smells of ammonia, there's evidence that
there's a dead rat somewhere.
right, there's a dead rat somewhere. Water is not working, so my team and I can't use the restroom. I mean,
man.
and these are the things that I tell adult kids, I get really busy after the holidays, and I think sometimes it's because the kids come home and they don't realize what mom and dad are living in.
Yeah.
They're like, we had no idea.
Right.
So, but then, level 4, it's, well, level 4, at least 4 too many pets. I'm not sure what too many is, but once you get to 4 or more, apparently that's too many.
Cat people, I imagine.
Oh,
is
yes,
level
cat.
5.
Like, yeah. Yes. One of my first clients that I went to work with, I thought I was going to have as a client, she had 23 cats.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
that was-
dream for Caroline.
Yeah.
She loves them.
It was, and I thought, oh heaven, like, well, this isn't what it was. But it was, the first 3 calls that I got were about senior moves, like seniors who they weren't going to be safe to be in their house. There wasn't a clear path for them to walk through. There was paper hoarding, and mice love paper.
Yeah.
Windows are blocked. I do a lot with the fire department, OTs, PTs, speech therapists that do home health care, because they'll call me like, Kinsley, we're like 1 step away from breaking a hip. And then the fire department's like, and if they break a hip, we can't get in to find them.
Can't get in there, yeah.
So
I've seen these cars too, like driving sometimes that are just full of stuff to the brim.
yes.
Same sort of deal.
And their house probably most
house
likely looks
yeah.
the same. Yeah.
So what's your on an average level 1, 2? What's your starting point? Like if they're like, hey, we need a full, like you get to choose. I want to declutter the whole house. What's your go-to room, or how does that look?
Yes, what a lot of clients ask me that. Some clients call and just have one project, like, oh, it's just my pantry.
Yeah.
And other clients call and say, it's the whole house. And like I said, one other thing I want to add is, like, my clients are not disorganized, which people laugh at me and say, okay, well, then why do they call you? Because people who are disorganized don't call me.
Right.
Like, it's people who don't want to live like that, but life's happened.
Yep.
So that goes back to, I want to know the story, because something has happened for all of this to be like this. And it's often a manifestation of how they feel in their head is what their surroundings look like. So which is not normally where the client wants to start, I always want to start in the owner's suite, because I feel like that's where you wake up and go to sleep.
Yeah.
And if there is no other place in your house, your bedroom should be your sanctuary.
Oh yeah.
Like, my children have known since birth, off limits. Everything in my bedroom's off limits. You're sick, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you're not getting in my bed. There's a pallet you can lay right there.
Nice.
So I think that should be your sanctuary. And like, light a candle, have a place where you can go and close the door, and all the chaos
That's
out.
good.
What do you mean they lay on a pallet?
So
They would just lay
Here's
on
a
a pallet
cage. Here's a
beside your
cage.
bed.
No,
yes,
outside
I
of
do.
the bed. Here's a cage.
Yes, it's literally. We had flip chairs that they just flipped out beside our bed, and that's
then
where
they
they would
slept
go
on
if they were
those?
sick. Yes, I
Oh.
feel like I feel like a terrible mother saying that. But I don't know. That was just
Protecting
something that
your
I
space.
established. Yes,
Yeah.
I just was like, I don't want you in the bed kicking me and throwing up in my bed. You can be in close proximity to me, but I don't want. Because I was scared I wouldn't have a big enough backbone to like uphold the boundary, and it would just end up
Yep.
like sleeping with me until they're 18.
I'm with you on that too. I think it's hard enough to get a good night's sleep by
Right.
yourself.
Right.
Then you have a spouse, it's harder.
Yes.
Then kids try to get in. The next thing you know, someone wants a dog in there or a cat. It's
Exactly.
like not doing this.
Exactly. So
So you start with the bedroom. I like that. And
Yes.
then what things in the bedroom? So I mean, declutter the floor, dressers.
yes,
What else are people having in there?
Under the bed's got to be something weird.
Yes, under the bed, tops of closet. But weirdly enough, we sometimes work backwards. We start with what's in the drawers. Although visible clutter is
Oh,
what's
yeah,
dragging
yeah.
us down. Visible
Yeah.
clutter is what's causing us frustration, fatigue. It's just
Yeah.
we can't ADHD, depression, like a lot of that feeds from clutter. So when we go in and we start looking through drawers, they're like, oh well, those are fine, but they're really not, because once we can get those cleared, the things that are on the countertops that you actually use a lot, we can place those somewhere else so it's not visible clutter.
Yep.
But the visible clutter is that's what's draining everyone.
Gotcha. My wife hates,
Mm.
and she loves like when the bedroom's clean, she can like
Rest.
feel
Yeah.
rested. But she
Yes.
hates clutter anywhere.
Oh.
And
could
I'm
be
the
best
worst.
friends.
Like I'm like numb to it. I'm like, it's
Oh,
pretty normal.
you have
Like we'll
clutter
get to it.
blindness.
Well, and I think of it like it just ranks lower on my things I'd rather do.
That's
you know what I
smart.
mean.
That's fair.
But the problem is it never ranks high enough for me wanting to do it either, because I could find something that's just more valuable.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But to her, so I've learned. We've definitely. Or I let her know that we can clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up, so she feels less psychotic.
Nice. What a great job. What way to sacrificially love your
great.
wife.
So for me, I love throwing things away. Favorite thing ever. So my kids are just terrified to leave their stuff out because I just throw it away indiscriminately.
Oh my gosh. So they remember, like they know if you've touched something or
Oh yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah, you left this toy out for more than 24
Gonzo.
hours. Gonzo.
Right. Or they'll like go sometimes like if they can't find something, they'll go check the
Trash can. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
My firstborn, who is anal retentive, neurotic, everything in its place, he would know if something had been touched in his room, but he's also good about getting rid of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My middle child, that bohemian, like artsy, nothing phases her, and she would not know if I threw something away.
No clue.
The baby, I have a surprise baby. She's 5. So I have 17, 15, and 5.
Oh, nice.
So the
Whoa.
5, yeah.
Surprise.
It was cherry on top.
How you doing?
Yeah, she'll dig through the trash for this like one scratch of paper
Yeah.
that has like her name scrabbled on it. Mommy, this is mine. I'm like, no, don't have that. Don't have that trait.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah.
What's your favorite project you've worked on? Like that you really walked away from and said, "This is my."
Oh, I just
Anything come to mind, or you like them all?
I love them all so much because I feel like I had a client one time tell me, she's like, you are doing God's work.
Yeah, it really is.
And I know when I leave my clients, especially my senior clients, we always like hug and like cry, and everyone,
Yeah.
it's so emotional because they're already downsizing from their house of 50 years. And so a lot of times people say my business should be the daughter I wish I had.
Yeah.
Because like my older clients are like, if I try to do this with my daughter, we just end up
Fighting.
like
and,
fighting, and then mom wants to hold on more stuff, and it's like counterproductive. So man, like when I leave my senior living communities and you're going to like maybe 900 to 1,000 square feet, but mom and dad walk in and are like, this is still my stuff.
Yeah.
It still feels like my stuff. That's amazing. Doing moves that are coming in from across the country and people just walk in and it's done.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling. I'm working with, so there's the Institute for Challenging Disorganization, and they have various certificates that you can get. And so I love working with people who have ADHD, depression, OCD, which you think if you had OCD, you would not probably be disorganized.
Right.
But it's kind of the other side of ADHD. Working with people who it's really, you just, when you leave, you can just tell.
There's an energy difference.
Yes, there's an energy difference. One of my clients, she was one of my very first clients in Summerville, South Carolina, old home on the historic registry, no space. We did our entire home. And she called me 6 months later and said, Kinsley, not only is my house still in order because you put it in systems, once I did that, I felt so accomplished that I went on to lose 25 pounds.
Yeah.
So it was,
It's good.
yeah.
I read that Marie Kondo book.
Yes.
But you know what? I got stuck. I can't remember. There's so it's practical and you go
In order.
Yes. I remember, and it starts off fairly easy. So I'm like, wow, this is nice.
Right.
And that area was like nice. And it stayed nice for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2, 3, whatever. I forget what it was, but I got to a point where I was like, this is too hard. I can't mentally get there.
Yeah.
I needed a person.
Well, because at the end, it's usually the pictures, the paper, and the
Yes.
emotional stuff.
Yeah,
Like the
yes.
first thing she starts with is like clothing,
Yep.
because most of us can go through and be like, okay, let's be honest.
Right.
Like,
And isn't one of the questions like, does this bring you joy?
does it spark joy?
Spark joy.
Yes.
Which was like a good thing.
It is a good thing until you meet that client that
everything.
Literally, I've had like, but they'll hesitate
Yeah.
when I ask, like, do you still wear this? I'm like, you hesitated.
Right.
Like, but does it spark joy? Yes, it does.
Well, what about
Okay.
if they're a weight fluctuator? Like I fluctuate and I need some like XLs. I need some like kind of larges here and there.
Right.
So then it's like, it sparks joy when I'm thinner.
That's nice.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of my women a lot of my men, the husbands, when I go in, they're like, don't touch my stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
They don't want
I'm
your
not
mess.
here touching
Yeah.
your stuff, I promise. Even though your wife would love for me to touch your stuff, I'm not going to. But women, I think especially, do tend to fluctuate. They have this is the size I wish I was in again. This is the size I'm currently in.
Right.
And this is when I was way bigger before and I have this. But it still comes down to, what will your closet contain? I'm a big, like, anti-bin person.
No bins.
I don't mind bins for what I call organizational purposes,
Like
if
seasons.
well, for seasonal things, or like, I don't mind bins in a drawer that keep all, like, here are all the scrunchies, here are all the brushes.
What about
here-
costumes? Wigs.
Costumes, yeah, things like that are seasonal. But like, if you're just like, oh, just
Seasonal
put,
wigs.
or what?
They are though.
Yeah,
They're for
in the
events.
moment, in the
Yeah.
in the events.
September and
Yeah, and this is your
October
wig.
are big wig
Yeah,
months
big
for us.
Yes, huge. Yeah. So a lot of times those, especially the bins that you can't see through, they're just like the Bermuda Triangle.
Yes.
So they just get put somewhere and put away, and I call those delayed decisions.
Yes.
So
Do you need a delayed decisions box? Like even when you organize everything, should there be a place where it's like, I'm not sure?
yes,
Toss it in.
absolutely.
Come
And I
back.
will establish that sometimes. I'll say, like, this is our first pass. You know, but we're going to go back through and do a second pass, especially if everything doesn't fit in our closet, because you told me your goal was for all of your clothes to hang in your closet. And at our house, we have a donation bin that sits out
we
all
did
the
that.
time.
Yep.
So,
You know what else I liked from the book was everything has a place. So like
Right.
even in the kitchen, when I hit the kitchen edit and you got rid of like a bunch of extra stuff, it's like, I'd never use this. I don't know when I'm going to use it. And then I just remember being like, okay, this pot goes here.
yes.
Instead of like this general area, it's like, no, this is the spot for it.
yes.
So when it got cleaned, you went to one thing versus like the area of the thing.
yes.
And that was huge.
Yes. And I mean, it is. It seems so simple, but yet so hard to do.
Right.
I mean, there's so much research, even down to the research of that, like, people who are more organized are generally more on time because they're not at home looking for their
Yep.
keys or their shoes. I mean, so there's a lot that goes into it that, like you said, that seemed like a small thing, but it was very.
And it does save a ton of time and just thinking and, you know, moving other stuff and things falling out of the cabinet and that kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Is there, with the research, maybe, is there a spot that silverware should go or plates should go or like certain things in the kitchen or?
So we always talk about function and frequency.
Yep.
So if it's a low frequency item, way up top.
Yep.
You need to get a step ladder to get it, because you're going to get it in that extra crock pot that you just need at Christmas when everyone's coming over and you need to make 2 things. that can go up. Seasonal stuff, trays can go up. So that's function and frequency because, you know, and then function wise, like how do we want our space to function? Yeah. So we always talk to our clients about muscle memory and what makes sense to them. Yep. And oftentimes we'll go in and say, okay, well, we're thinking of putting the plates here, this here, that there. And they'll say, oh, well, that actually makes sense. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we have, you know, our everyday wear cups and plates kind of in this line of vision because you're constantly reaching. And
like near the refrigerator, right?
Yes, cup. Or in a coffee station, your coffee cups need to be right above it instead of over by the Lazy Susan. We always, if we have young kids especially, we create what's called like the kids cupboard, which has got to be down low because I get tired of having to get a sippy cup or a plastic bowl from up high. So, and then silverware is just, you know, sometimes it's wherever the drawer is long enough to fit it. But just if you're in your kitchen and you're thinking about, oh, I need to grab a pot, so my pot holders need to be close to the oven. Yep. My cutting boards need to be on the other side of the oven. So that's just, there are some kind of what you would say traditional, like professional organizer spaces that things should go in, but it's very client driven.
Nice. Some people even have 9 cars in front of their house.
Oh, yeah.
Is it just all the same category?
Yeah. I mean, because Marie Kondo's process, and it's not rocket science. It's not anything new, but it's like when I tell clients, you know, we have to pull everything out, everything. So it's like life. No one likes the messy middle. No one likes the process. We like the product. So just bear with me. Like we're going to get in there. But yes, and when I'm working with kids, I say they're family members. Families like to live together. So then we have to decide where that family is going to live. But I guess if you have 9 cars, your driveway's really...
You have to get rid of some. But you just don't know when you're going to need a spare part from
that's true.
That 1991 Toyota.
I think he would concur.
I would buy more land and just move them over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, so I've heard $20 and 20 minutes. That would be your metric for deciding if you're going to keep it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Meaning you're going to put it in the I'm not sure, delayed decision, and it was always $20, 20 minutes. Can it be replaced? Yes. Get rid of it.
That's a good one.
Have I used it? I always say I've used it in the last 90 days.
Yes.
If the answer is no, automatic trash.
Yeah.
Or giveaway or wherever.
Right. Well, I mean, that's
Randy's
that's a
writing
good
a
one.
book on this stuff.
Oh.
No, I've just had to do I don't know if I should share this,
Yep.
but
Please do.
I tried to declutter my mother-in-law.
Oh,
that's
that
danger.
And there was just some shelves that were made for one little photo. Like it would be about this size. Mm-hmm. And you would think one photo would look nice on there, but there would be 7 or 8 but on every single one.
Right.
So I was just like pulling a few off, being like, hey, if we just have like one thing here, then it looks better. And then but there's like 9 things behind it that we need to figure out. But it didn't go over well. I think she said that I was throwing away her memories.
Stuff. Yes. And that's like,
tough.
So when I think about senior citizens or my older clients, I always talk to their adult kids and say, look, here's the deal. They're not in a good space. They're having to move their house, leave their house. And maybe it's a positive note. Maybe they're just going to live at like a cruise ship on land that never leaves port because a lot of the senior living communities are like that. That's still not necessarily a happy move for them. And so we have that layer. But then if we layer on like, oh, we had to turn off their oven and now they have to get like Meals on Wheels or some other meal prep or whatever. So now they can't cook. Now we took away their car keys. Now you're taking away their stuff. And that's the last little bit that they have to hold on to. So whereas you're right, I think there's so many reasons that my generation is more minimalistic, and it's because we grew up with grandparents. We just like everywhere you looked, was stuff.
Yep.
And there's actually a word. It's called stuffication.
Really?
Yeah. So
it was another interesting phenomenon I found as I started to meet people who were in much higher tax brackets than I was in, is that their houses were so decluttered. It was. The wealthier they were, the less stuff they had.
More minimalistic.
I would go to their house and it was just a lawn with no chairs, no umbrellas, no furniture. And then I would go in their house and I was like,
it is.
I don't even know where your stuff is.
It's so interesting that you say that because we do get, I mean, we're certified senior and specialty moves. So we get a lot of those high end moves. And I do feel like when I go to like resettle them, and there's like, do you want any pictures on the wall or do you have children? Or, it's like, and some of my friends have their houses like that. And I remember I asked one of my friends one time, I said, do you let your children inside your house or does it just always look that way? I mean, but I feel like for me, that's too sterile. Like I want my house to look lived in. I don't want it to look like my, great grandmother's or my grandmother's, but I don't want it always, it doesn't always have to look like Southern living either or like coastal chic or whatever. I just, so, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I think some of us have swung too harshly the other way.
What is your husband like?
Well, I'm not married, but
there you go. But
I saw Ray. What's the big rock on your wedding finger?
This is my GDI ring. Like, gosh darn independent ring.
That's just a trick. That's like it's to trick people like me.
Yeah, no. So my husband did have ADHD.
Okay.
So that was a lot to learn to live with. So he absolutely, I think, not only was he clutter blind, but I think he was sentimental. And the story there is that he lost his dad at a young age. So there's always a story, like there's a reason. So just learning how to sacrificially love him and work through that and understand more about ADHD and what that looks like. But the couples that I work with, there's definitely a yin and yang. There's always one pointing at the other. Yep. It's her, she's the pack rat, she can't let go of anything, or it's him and his whatever collection, I can't touch it. And it's, so I think that, I don't know, I think for two anal retentive people to live together might almost be scarier than two like pack rats living together. I'm not sure.
What's your favorite container or organizational piece that like the average Joe could go to the store and purchase? Or
I love the expandable drawer dividers.
For like
drawers.
Any drawers?
Well, they're expandable, so they kind of can shapeshift whatever length you need. And the reason I like it is because a lot of furniture has like these wide, deep drawers, which are not very efficient.
Nope.
Because if we want all of our socks to stay in there, it's too big for our socks. If we put in a drawer divider, we now have like, oh, these are our socks. Yeah. These are our undies. These are, bathing suits. Especially in like kids' nurseries and kids' rooms, you have, the onesies, the socks, the next year of clothing. I also like Lazy Susans being used in unconventional spaces. A lot of people just think of the kitchen, but they're really good for the bathroom, under the bathroom supplies, your closet, any of the clear plastic bins that you can go, the Home Edit, which they're like the celebrities of professional organizing, and they organize like Reese Witherspoon's closet and whatnot. They have their own brand.
Like just tilt your microphone a little more.
Sorry. Thank you. Is that good? Yep. They have their own brand at Walmart. So it doesn't have to be super expensive, and it depends on your aesthetic. But yeah, the drawer dividers, I like the honeycomb because it looks like honeycomb and you just like stuff your underwear in it. You don't have to worry about all the fancy folding. And
do you fold your underwear?
No, I just stuff them in the honeycomb.
Yeah. I'm not a fold underwear
I
guy.
roll mine.
Well, yeah. And Marie Kondo has a lot about how she does the trifold, like envelope and lines them up.
Yep.
Upright.
But I just have to, that's another thing I have to talk to my clients about. How sustainable is that for you? Are you going to just, trifold your clothes every night out of the laundry and slide them into your drawer? I'm not. So
yeah,
you got to get.
My wife does, but
you got to get a tidy whitey section and a box of brief session.
And you can do that with drawer dividers. So there you go.
I had to buy my first set of tidy whiteys in a long time since I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
Just because I had white pants that you could just see through.
I would not have thought.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I just thought you didn't know that.
And the worst part is he's been so aggressive at people who have worn them all this time.
We have a couple friends that just wear them. And I'm like, I can't understand them.
And now you get it.
They suck. Like, it wasn't comfortable. I just have to do it for that one pair of pants.
Maybe you should try Spanx.
I should. That'd be nice.
Is that a men thing now?
Do they have male?
I do think they have men now. They do.
We talked about Spank or like something like that where you could stuff the package too.
Yeah,
for men.
there you go.
That would be nice.
Instead of compressing, it would be more for addition. Yeah. Well, swinging back around, other things I like.
Other tools.
I kind of like this topic, actually. Let's keep rolling on that.
Interesting. Thank you for that tidbit. Maybe we can get sponsored by Spanx in the future. I like velvet hangers.
We just got some of those.
Yeah.
The only thing with them, though, just before you go on, is there a pain in the ass to pull a shirt off of? Because they're sticky.
Yes.
Almost.
A lot of my male clients tell me that. And it's because you're not supposed to jerk your clothes off the hanger.
What do you do?
You're supposed to take the hanger off and then then take your
who
clothes
does
off.
that?
Good.
I like the plastic ones that just shoop right off.
Me too.
Yeah.
Good
I mean,
plastic.
yeah.
Even putting it back in with a velvet, it gets caught. It's a whole deal.
I will agree. I will say that. I think for women, the velvet part is that one, they are more streamlined and aesthetically.
Yeah,
like it
they
looks
are
pretty.
thinner.
Even if you're going to not use velvet, it's better to have all the same kind.
Yep.
Just because it just looks nicer in the closet. And there's always that trick of turning your clothes backwards.
We just did that.
Yeah, and if the hanger hasn't turned
Yep.
in a
I'm in that
season.
journey right now.
There you go.
Since February.
Look at you.
It's just interesting to see what clothes I'm actually wearing and not.
Absolutely.
I don't know the
about this?
trick.
So, so I tell people that tidying should be like deep cleaning. It's like every 3 months we should be tidying, or, along the way, if you have a donation box. But with clothes, we often don't do that. So when you hang your clothes, you hang them like backwards so that the hanger is turned. And at the end of the season, if it's still hanging like that,
You haven't
you
worn
haven't
it.
worn it.
Oh,
Yeah.
So when you wear it, you put it back regular.
Regular.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you kind of see. It is interesting.
I've heard of hanging your or taking your hangers and putting them in the front every time you use it, because then you know if people are going into your closet and stealing your clothes.
Okay, so that's funny because my daughter, the middle one, when she started kind of being my size and wanting to wear my clothes, I walked in one day and looked in my closet. And I was like, Millie James, have you been in my closet? And she was like, oh my gosh, how do you know? I said, because I color code my clothes.
Yep.
And you put the gray back in the wrong section.
Oh,
Called.
yikes.
Yeah.
So you do it by color coding.
Yes. There's a big debate on this. So I'm so anal retentive and OCD that I do it by color coding and by type. So like within the color code, I'm going to have like sleeveless shirts first, then short sleeve, then long sleeve, then sweater. And that's all red. Then I'll go to orange.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of do it the same way.
Okay, so all the seasons in one color.
No, I do. Well, I do rotate, which in South Carolina, it's kind of hard to do, but I do have like
Long sleeve,
winter,
short sleeve.
yeah, I do have winter and summer closets,
Okay.
but I still have what I would consider like spring sweaters that are not, they're like lightweight more so.
Yeah.
And a lot of my clients will say, I don't like that. I've tried it. I can't find outfits. I'd rather have it like all my short sleeves are together, all my long sleeves are together, which however it works for you.
Right.
Yep.
I just think the rainbow is more famous because of the home edit. And also I like when I open my closet and it's like that.
Yeah.
Rainbow looking.
Yes, it's like a rainbow.
Is there like a more masculine way to do a closet, color wise? Haphazard.
I say that my men have like what I call cartoon closets. It's
Yeah.
like they have 10 pairs of the same slacks, 10 white shirts. There's
Bunch of funny shirts.
yeah,
that,
yes,
tons of
graphic
patterns.
t-shirts. Yeah. So I tend to do theirs more about like I don't want to say lifestyle, but it's like, okay, these are your work clothes.
Yeah.
These are your t-shirts. These are your nicer t-shirts. Just
Here's your tank tops.
yeah, here are your tank tops to wear with your special October wig.
Yeah. Which is true. Are there any tips or questions people should ask themselves on this journey? Like as they're starting to wanting to declutter, what sort of things should they ask?
Oh gosh.
So like the spark joy thing that
Yes.
resonated.
Does this spark joy? I mean, I know this seems so simple, but it's like, do I have room for it?
Right.
Will it fit? Does it physically fit? When's the last time I wore it? When's the last time that I used it? Why am I really hanging on to it? Because, I go into houses and there's a vase or there's something and we're getting ready to downsize or move or whatever. And someone will say, oh, that's from great Aunt Edna. I don't even like that vase, but it's like, why do you still have it? Well, great Aunt Edna gave it to me. I'm like, does she live here?
Right.
Is she still alive? Okay, then it's fine. Donate it to someone else in the family, but you don't have to be held emotionally hostage. So just really, why are you holding on to things? And I tell people that if you're sentimental about everything, then you're not sentimental at all.
Yeah.
Because it can't all be sentimental, or then it's not special.
If everything's important, nothing's
important. Same thing. Exactly right. Yeah. I want to look around my house and see things that spark joy. I don't want things that I'm just like, oh, well, I kind of like it. No. Mm-mm.
Okay. That's good.
Well, so let me ask you about pricing a little bit, because I know everybody's probably wondering
Absolutely. Yes.
And I've known 2 people in the last 2 years who were storing tons of stuff in a storage container, paid thousands of dollars.
Right.
And the whole thing either got flooded or infested with rodents, or stolen in one case. And they didn't even care that it was all gone. It was almost a relief that the whole thing was gone.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought up storage units, because they are the bane of my existence, and I think they're predatory, because if you drive around and look at any senior living community, you will find one maybe half a mile away, because mom and dad can't make decisions, or children are like, just put it in storage. We know it's worth something. We'll do an auction later. And
it's
5 years later,
$10 a month for the first 3 months anyway.
Right. And then, 5 years later, you have grandmother's antiques that probably 5 years ago you could have sold money and made money, but now they've sat in storage at $200 a month for 5 years. And
you're losing,
Yeah, you're losing. So that's another thing I tell people, like, I know a lot of people think they can't afford us, or that we're certain, but I try to make it for everybody, so that you don't have to deal with, I hate storage units. But and a lot of my clients will say, like, I'm going to outsource my weaknesses. So I'm going to tuck away my money here and there, just so I can afford for y'all to come in. And we're getting ready to launch a home management service. So it'll be kind of like you can have us residually come in and do the whole home once. Yeah, and do like a refresh, a restart. Because the average mom, if she were to put out a spreadsheet and she's working 45 plus hours a week, she's doing 22 additional hours of things that she's not getting paid for just because she's a mom.
Yeah.
So, like, wouldn't it be nice to come in and your household manager is just...
Is that the numbers? 22 hours a week?
It's average 22 hours a week extra that she's, like, putting in a load of laundry, putting the groceries away, running to get prescriptions, walking the dog, because I'm just... all those little things that you could possibly outsource, again, so that, because time is our most valuable commodity. And so I think household managers is something else that's starting to pop up in our lives, because I think that we live way too fast, all of us. I've never in my life seen children more socially or sports active than mine. And when I was growing up, that just wasn't a thing.
I'm stuck on the 22 hours number, because they always say 90 hours a week, right?
Well,
you always hear from every woman, like, you know what? My duties are 100 hours a week, and then I do 40 hours a week at work.
This was just one of the, I think that may be an average. I think that's like if you're getting the 90 hours a week, it's probably her saying, like, I'm working 40 hours at work or 50 hours at work, plus I'm working 25 hours additional at home taken care of. So I think...
we need to get what we took away from that is we need to give them more work at home.
Yeah,
right, exactly. Yeah, they're not doing enough.
22 hours. Why is there clutter in this drawer?
Right. Well, and it's one of those things that, again, I am so happy to say that I've never had a repeat customer, meaning that I've never had a repeat project.
Yeah.
So once I go in and I do someone's pantry, they might say, like, hey, I can't have you back until 3 or 4 months from now when I save up my money. But when I go back, the pantry's perfectly in order, because it's about creating a system that's maintainable with that particular client, which is very client specific. And also just, I tell people, maintaining homeostasis. So one of my rules for myself, not only my clients, is if I go to TJ Maxx and I see 3 dresses I absolutely have to have, then 3 are going out of my closet when I get home.
Wow. That'd be tough. I know. I have a lot of dresses I love.
I know. I'm sorry.
So do you
put them in a bin?
Do you quote each job differently? Is that how, like, there isn't just like a pantry price or a garage price, or you have to look at it and kind of see?
Right. And I'm pretty good. I do hourly. I have an hourly rate, but I've been doing this long enough to tell someone, yeah, that's going to take about this many hours, and this is what you can estimate. Usually I'm really good at overestimating, which is nice, because that's a surprise for the client.
Yeah.
Moves, I'm usually pretty dead on. The reason it's hard, and I went through this a lot when I started as a business. Do I do hourly? Do I do project? Do I do hourly? Do I do project? When you're working with clients and senior citizens, especially that have held on to stuff for 5 to 10 years, it can take them a really long time to decide.
Right.
And so
You got to go more hourly. then,
right. Yeah. Because you don't, I mean, I love my job and I feel like it's my mission, but I have to like feed my kids. So, you know, there has to be a profit. And I did for a long time battle back and forth between those two, but no one's really said, because I am with the moves, I am now able to say, do a walkthrough and give an estimate, like estimate this is how many boxes you'll need. This is how much packing paper we're going to use. And then usually I'm either right on it or right below it.
Nice. What territory do you do all of Columbia and?
Oh,
I heard Somerville. So are you?
Oh yeah, we've done Somerville, Manning, Hartsville, Florence, Aiken.
So you're on the road.
Charlotte. Yeah. We love a good road trip, the team and I. Because
how big's the team?
Well, we kind of wax and wane because usually it's stay-at-home moms who kind of just want like a side job that's during school hours, which most of our clients work is 9 to 2.
Yeah.
I've had up to 6. Right now we have 3. Probably getting ready when we roll out kind of the more home management, kind of a bi-monthly or monthly organization. We'll be hiring more.
Yeah.
So
nice. And then so you came up with a name, right? My Other Mother. Tell us about that. Like, how did you come up with that? Or
I was sitting in I was getting ready to have my second child in February. It was my first child that just had Christmas as a 2-year-old. And I just was sitting in the middle of his playroom, just crying because I was like, I just need another mother. And I never really, that was years before I started this company. And then I just one day out of the blue thought, my other mother. Yeah, I need someone to be my other mother. And it's mom. Like there's an acronym.
Yeah.
And then as I got into the senior mood management part, I think it really works well because I tell people I'm going to treat your client like she's my other mother.
Yeah.
I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to be gentle. I'm going to love her. And I'm going to treat her. I'm going to allow her to downsize with dignity.
Nice. Good stuff. And then you brought some books with you. What are some of these? Is this recommended reading?
So these, I guess, are kind of my school books, if you say, because I am certified. We do have to take class and all that good stuff. Yeah, we have to have 45 hours every 3 years.
Who certifies organizers?
Yeah, good question. So there's the National Association for Productivity and Organization. That's NAPO. And then I'm certified with the National Association of Senior and Specialty Move Management.
Okay.
So I'm no longer certified with NAPO because
they're not organized.
No, they are. They focus a lot on just purity, organization, and space planning.
Yeah.
Whereas with my NASM, my senior and specialty, I learn more about the art of packing and working with clients who have dementia and just overall more about move management. For me, I feel like organization is just like genetically inbred in me. So I didn't want more classes on that. But yeah, so these are some books that have really helped me. Joshua Becker is the one who started the whole like minimalistic movement.
Yeah.
He's a great person to follow, but this is his, I think his first book, possibly Things That Matter.
Things That Matter. It's called. Okay.
And it's really good about, how to be minimalistic and how to understand what things really matter. So maybe that'd be a good question to ask my clients. Oh gosh, this one is so good.
The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning?
Yes. It sounds fatalistic, right? Like I love going to a senior living community and say, hey, today we're going to talk about death cleaning. Margareta Magnusson wrote this when she was 88 years old. Wow. And in Sweden, this is the thing. You do death cleaning, but you do it like your whole life so that it's not trauma for your kids.
So when you die,
it's done. I mean, it's like
you're throwing out your last piece of clothing as you pass away.
You're like, wait, don't do that. That's what she's being buried in. But no, she goes through and had made notes on the backs of pieces so that the kids would know, like, she couldn't throw them away yet, but then she let the kids decide, like, hey, we do or don't know this person, also this is the charity I want this to go to. And she's just funny. It's really witty. She's funny. It's a lot of fun. So that one's cool. Obviously, the life-changing magic of tidying up. Very Eastern feel, like, so that this one's good, a quick read, very, how to, practical. This is Keep the Memories Loose, this stuff. This is Matt Paxton, who started Hoarders and the Legacy House. He is a certified senior move manager. I've heard him speak at conference. He's an amazing person. And this is literally a step-by-step, where do you start in a house that's packed with, even down to like what kind of...
Because memories is the biggest thing. That's the big
That's the biggest thing. And we also see popping up now these photo managers.
Yeah.
Businesses where you can send off all these photos and it comes back in a nice little, package. And then this is How to Keep House While Drowning. And she is a therapist. And she wrote this because she was seeing a lot of clients, and I actually get a lot of client referrals from therapists because they're like, take this first step.
Yeah.
And you will see your mental health improve. Sometimes physical health will improve. And that's Joshua Becker with.
Sweet.
Yeah. So those are kind of my go-tos whenever I just need a quote or need a moment or need a reminder.
Nice. And then what's an average day or week look like for you now?
Oh, goodness. Well, right now we're kind of covered in, we have 3 moves in May that are closing the 29th, the 30th, and June 1st. Oh, gotcha. So by that, we have to have everything.
You're there at their house packing and labeling and all that.
And when the movers come, I want things placed a certain, and then these moves, we have one that's going to be in South Carolina. Another lady is moving back up north, Connecticut, I believe, where she was originally from. And then another move.
Do you fly into Connecticut then and
unpack?
Okay,
I
you
don't.
Just do this side of it.
I've had people say like, could you just meet up? We'll pay for you to come to Florida. Or we'll pay for you. But a lot of times I'm able to contact a move manager where they're going and get them set up on that side if that's what they want.
Yeah.
So right now we're covered up with kind of everything because we ran a Mother's Day special and a lot of people are, getting moms a gift of organization.
Smart. I'm a winner of one of your giveaways.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
We want KB.
Yes, Frank's. Yeah. Yes. Okay. That's awesome. Good to know.
So you'll be at my house soon.
This little piece of wood. You better throw this away. I
you
know
better
about
get ready.
this.
I'm coming.
I asked you about the garage. I think that's what it was.
Yes, you did. Yep. Yes. So, yeah, we always feel like moves are our main thing and we plug in organizing. Sometimes we're organizing heavy and that's what we do 5 days a week. And other times if it's a move, it's like all hands on deck all day.
Nice. Like say for a garage, do you give advice for bigger fixtures for storage? Like you need cabinets here.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And then that would be like a third party vendor, right? Yes. Like I would say, I work with, Tailored Living or, someone that I actually have worked with before.
Because that would be nice. That's one thing that we're trying to like make our garage way more efficient.
Right. And functional.
Yeah. And I want to put stuff on the wall, but I want to get the right stuff. I don't want a bunch of makeshift shelves that just tuck stuff on.
Yes.
I want to look nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And covered.
I think when things look nice and are covered, we're more likely to put things back where they were because we don't want clutter out on our pretty surfaces, making it look cluttered again.
No, what he's saying is he doesn't want you to throw anything away. He wants you to put them in organized bins.
He just wants you to be a general contractor and add on to that side of the house.
100%.
Awesome.
Well, one of my philosophies that helps me is my memories are getting better and better as time goes on.
Oh,
like I'm not attached to any. Like, I'm not like, I have to hang on to that because I'm going to get something way cooler in the next 2 weeks.
Nice. I like that. I've never thought about that. It's almost like in reverse.
Yeah. I have to constantly have more space because things are only getting excited. Like, there's so many memories happening at all times.
Right.
It's almost seems weird to me to want to hang on to too many of them.
And then when you it went back to what we said earlier. Then when you look around, you're like, well, where's the one that I really like? We can't find it because there's too much.
A memory's just a memory.
Yeah. And the stuff is the vehicle to the memory. So I understand that. But with technology today and so many ways to keep it.
Photo.
Yeah. And just, I don't know. I don't like stuff.
See, I'm the opposite. I like the old memories and I like thinking like, if I get rid of this, it's erased forever. And then I'm like, I can't erase it. Yeah, I was like, I can't erase this forever.
That's really
well. That's the like burden I feel like is like this thing. If it's in the garbage at landfill, whatever, it's gone forever. That memory, like I'm not going to remember it, and I have no trigger. I need a little trigger.
Well, you said a very important word. You said burden. And that is almost 98% of my clients when I leave say, I feel so unburdened. I feel so light. And that's amazing because you can see it in their body language. Like, I love it. And I just am going to have we're going to have to do some really gentle, intentional work.
We're going to do some
when
counseling.
I come. Yeah, I'm going to pull out my non-therapist degree, but
Maybe
I've been in therapy long enough.
The whole session's going to be laying on a couch and you're just going to whisper to me.
You're unburdened.
You're fine.
You're unburdened.
How do you want to feel when this is over?
I throw things away, stacks of things from our back room. Whenever he doesn't know what to do with something, he puts it in the back.
Yeah.
And then I have my system where I'll put a whole bunch of things in a box that's ready to be thrown away.
Yeah.
And then it'll go to my house where I have a few more days. And then if nobody asks about it, then it's sits straight in the trash. And then he'll come in and be like, where's all my stuff? And I'm like, what are you looking for? He's like, I'm not looking for anything specific. It just seems like there's just way more things in here.
There's a binder that I need.
I'm just not of that camp. Like, I have people who want to keep, like, one gentleman had the whole entire collection of National Geographic. And he thought, oh, well, but
That's a good collection.
I couldn't.
That is aggressive.
I couldn't even sell them. I mean, they weren't valuable. They weren't worth anything. I took them to an elementary school so they could use them for mosaics.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, it's just
You can't even use them in the fire because they're kind of glossy.
Yeah, they're glossy and they won't. And so that goes back to a lot of people thinking, well, it must be valuable. It's only worth what someone will pay for it. So, yeah, I'm with you. Like, I'm tracking with you because I have no problem throwing things away, even though I'm probably going to have early onset dementia. I'm pretty much decided that. I'll just and then I don't even remember its memory.
Gone.
So it's gone.
So should I go, like, say I'm thinking about a closet at my house right now. It's downstairs and it just has a bunch of shit in it.
Okay.
Is the process I just pull out everything? That feels like it would take a long time. Like, so I pull it all out. Then what? I go through it one item at a time and say, like,
so what we do, I have a dynamo. She is my best. Like, Mary is, like, shout out to Mary. She knows I love her, and she loves to throw stuff away. She can't wait to get some over there because she's
give
just
her
like,
a
I want to
garbage bag.
get a dumpster
How
in
old
here.
is Mary?
Mary is 21.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
See
Gen
Yeah,
Z.
you did not see that coming.
Wow.
No.
I was picturing like mid
I thought
60s.
60, yeah.
And I have had some ladies in their 50s and 60s. That's nice to help with my senior moves, but Mary loves throwing stuff out. She loves when she sees a dumpster roll up to the house and knows we're about to do some serious work. But I always send two people because as we're pulling out, she or one of my other employees is putting things into categories.
Yep.
So when you turn around, you're like, oh, I didn't know I had, all of that.
4,000 pens.
Right.
Maybe.
So you're like,
19 glue sticks. Most of them
25
don't
rubber
work.
bands.
yes, glue sticks that are empty, rubber bands that have no
Yep.
stretch.
Paper clips.
Yeah, so that way we can say, okay, now we see it, let's put it back. Now we have functional space because a lot of people have way more space than they think they do.
Right.
If we need to bin it, to put it back in a smart way, put it in a rolling cart, get it back in there, all that other stuff just goes away or is donated.
I just feel like I'd have to plan how long of a day? Like when you come to the house,
we book in
8 hour?
We book in at least 5 hours because
the
generally
minimum.
that's the minimum. We'll go. I mean, we've gone 12 hours, but
just hammering away.
yeah, especially when it's moving, when it's time to move, and we're really trying to get those boxes done. But yeah, most rooms take 5 to 6 hours, and that obviously depends on volume, scope of work. But yeah, so a closet may not take that long. And I tell my older clients, especially, like, it may not be 5 hours of making decisions because decision fatigue does set in.
Yep.
So the last 2 hours, maybe it's us, making labels, putting it here, making a target run, getting donations loaded.
Yeah.
So yeah, 5 hours is a lot of decisions to make.
And so you think it's probably a lot of donations too? Because I think that's part of the problem is, like, it's like, all right, I have 14 things of tape. They're usable.
Yes.
But should I should only keep 3.
Right.
And then you donate the rest to feel better about it.
Yes. And that's what I feel like we've been so blessed in my business. And also I think it's because, or I like to think it's because, one, I think we're good, but two, it's because I try to find charities and places that need what I have.
Yeah.
So we do not work with Goodwill. We just don't.
Really?
No. But like Epworth Children's Home, Ronald McDonald House.
What's the opposite of a shout out?
Like, I don't know. We just don't work with
Throwing
them.
shade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry, if people who like Goodwill, that's fine. They're on every corner. You can take it there. I just like to take things where I know they're going to be used.
Right. Well, that's always my issue too. Is I don't know
You
where
don't
to
know
take
where.
it, so I just
Yeah.
end up dumping it at Goodwill, knowing they're probably going to trash it all anyway.
Well, I mean, I have so many unique clients. I did a lady one time who was an interior designer, and she had bolts of fabric, gorgeous upholstery. And I found out that DJJ teaches their youth to upholster chairs.
Oh,
so I
nice.
just took the fabric out there. And so I feel like that's one of the things I have the ability to do since I have a strong team. I can take donations to where I know. And then I feel like I can fully tell the client, look, like
Here you go. Yeah.
here's what happened.
Have you ever kept something from somebody's house?
Oh my gosh, with permission.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, I have such great stuff from people's
Do ya?
houses. Yes.
See, that'd be my problem. If I like went to or I'd want to keep a lot of their stuff.
Oh well, no, but see, I'm
You're the
I'm
opposite.
the like I'm only gonna keep it if I need it. But like so many times I'll go somewhere and someone will say, "Oh, I like your dress," or I like this, and I'll say, "Oh, it's from a client."
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
paintings in my house that clients were giving away. If we can't do an online auction, I have a company that I work with that does online estate sales, especially for our clients who are moving.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Sometimes a client, I always ask permission though, but oh yeah.
Can you say what the company is?
The online company?
Yeah,
Or-
because
Yeah.
if you want to buy things off it too, it would be cool.
Yeah, it's Caring Transitions with Michael Houston. So yeah, and yes, I go and follow them and try to buy stuff off there, but I always get outbid.
Really?
That's why I always
Popular.
wonder if it's like real, if there's like a bot on the other end waiting for me to.
No, not with this company. No. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then what do you like to do for fun or hobbies?
Oh.
Organize stuff? Like what gets you excited?
Oh gosh, when we walk into a house and people are like,
You're fired
we're
up.
fine. We're like, oh,
What do
there's
you
gonna
wear? What
be
do you wear to
such a-
that? Like
we
yoga
just
pants?
we just wear yoga pants and our company shirt, or sometimes
Yeah.
with our senior citizens and it's like 78 or 80 degrees.
Yeah.
We'll wear like a romper or something because it gets really hot. Other than that, I love watching my kids do what they love.
Yeah.
So I have, my children they've always played high level sports. I have a football player and baseball player at AC Flora. My daughter plays lacrosse and volleyball at AC Flora.
Nice.
Have both been on varsity since they were in like 9th grade. All state awards, all region awards. And so they're just fun to watch and they're so spunky. And then my 5-year-old dances, which is fun because that's what I did growing up. So I feel like I'm getting that back. Other than that,
What kind of dance? Ballet?
this year, she did tap and ballet last year, but this year she made the performance teams. She does sassy jazz.
Nice.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I guess it's not Broadway jazz. It is sassy
Sassy
jazz.
jazz.
Yeah.
Yes,
Nice.
it is.
That's
So,
great. And then how do people find you?
honestly, I'm so blessed with word of mouth. Like
Yeah.
I don't have to spend a lot on marketing at all because my clients are so wonderful and generous. But Instagram,
Shoot you a DM.
yeah, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, because my 15-year-old swore up and down I needed TikTok. Podcast,
Yeah, buddy.
magazines. I've been on the news for Soda City Live, and
Nice.
but honestly, word of mouth.
Yeah.
My clients are amazing.
What's your Instagram for people to follow?
My Other Mother 2018.
Why 2018?
That's when I started the company.
nice.
Yeah. And I had no other, now it's my other handles are like Meet My Other Mother, which is a
Yeah.
lot cooler, but
Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the
All right.
show.
Thank
We
you all for
appreciate it.
having me. And I hope you enjoy, I want to give a shout out to Jenny at Seminole Candles.
Oh,
She makes my candles when I move someone in. That's my
little gift.
Oh.
consumable
Love that.
gift to
Nice.
them. Nothing that's going to be,
Beautiful.
they're going to use it and get rid of it.
I'm gonna hoard that in my closet.
Better not be there when I come.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thank you.
y'all.
We're here for the health of it.
For the health of it.